All right, so Apple Music just made a big announcement surrounding transparency in AI. I think this is very good news for artists, really for the creative community at large. Here, just listen to this news, and I'm going to be reading from a source called Rapzilla, but you can look this up online. It's been all over the news. Apple Music now requires labels and distributors to disclose when AI was used in a track, composition, music video, or artwork. So how the new tags are going to work. Labels must report if AI created a material portion of the release. This applies to the track, the composition, the music video, and the artwork. If they don't disclose it, Apple does assume that no AI was used. So the industry, obviously we know, is flooded with AI music. Deezer says it's receiving 60,000 fully AI-generated songs every day. Other DSPs are building detection systems. Apple is starting with transparency and putting responsibility on labels. It goes on to say, at Rapzilla, we're receiving several AI tracks daily. The policy for now has been no posting. There is much to be said and discussed when considering AI as a tool. Much of it is used in shaping, producing, and creating layers of music now. As for now, a red flag is complete workings and vocals fully done by AI. Things can change, but the industry will help dictate it. Obviously, this is a step in the right direction. I think that we've seen no shortage of AI slop all over the internet, whether it be in Reels, it being showcased literally on platforms like Joe Rogan, talking about how great AI-generated content is.
Heard what they're doing with AI music. It's so fucking good. I sent it to Brian Simpson and he said, that is the best fucking thing you've ever sent me. It's not even a real human being's voice. And it's fucking good, dude. It's good where you're like, whoa!
Despite all the doom and gloom, I want to look at a more optimistic lens around the future of how AI is going to shape the creative landscape. I have 3 points, but before we get into all of that, I just want to disclaim by saying this. I'm not pro AI, especially with it being used for creative work. If you're using AI to blatantly create creative work, you're just not creating, flat out. At the same time, I feel like there is a more hopeful picture that very few people are painting right now. And I'd like to look at the more optimistic lens and maybe look at why we don't have to worry maybe as much as we think we do. So today I'm going to look at 3 points. We're going to look at 3 reasons why I think things are going to be okay. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, so definitely comment below. Again, please know this is not a video aimed at downplaying the risks of AI. This is clearly a disruptive technology that humanity is just not ready for. So this is going to be through the lens of creativity. So whether you're a songwriter, whether you're a musician, a graphic designer, a photographer, a marketing leader at a company, a storyteller, this video is going to be for you. And if you're at all feeling the weight of AI on your shoulders, like maybe you won't have a job, or maybe you're going to have to really compete up against some AI slop, things are going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Reason number 1 why I think things are going to be okay is because AI has zero taste. What is AI? AI is basically just really fast at Googling things. That's really all it is. It uses something called a learning model or information systems, and it pulls data from that. So for example, let's say you're a mixing engineer and you throw in a bunch of stems from your recording session into the AI chat box and you say, mix this song for me, or whatever prompts come after that. What it's going to do is it's going to look at all the information on the web about how to mix a song, and then it's going to regurgitate and spit out something that sounds good based on what the vast majority of people say sounds good. But what's the problem with that? Well, AI didn't actually make any decisions. Nobody made any decisions. It was literally just measured off of existing knowledge. For example, at some point, somebody discovered sidechain compression in a song. That was something like, what if nobody had discovered sidechain compression? Well, then AI wouldn't have had that information to learn from, so it wouldn't have applied it to the mix. So what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say here is that creative risks are taken by humans. Sometimes an imperfect recording is famous or becomes a hit because it's imperfect, because it makes it intrinsically human. There's a great song out there that we all have heard called Should I Stay or Should I Go? And it has one of the most iconic intros of all time. I'm not going to play it on this channel because I don't want my channel to get demonetized here. I'm trying to grow the channel. That whole intro, that guitar part is out of tune. And if you were to put something into AI, say, pull me out a guitar track with these chords, it's probably generally not going to default to making a deliberate mistake. These deliberate mistakes make art human, and it's why people resonate with it. So AI doesn't have that ability because it just pulls from what they already know. So that's number one, robots can't make decisions. The number two reason why I think everything is going to be okay is because the evolution of art depends on artists differentiating themselves. It is so hard to cut through the noise these days on social media. Even before the whole AI slop thing happened, social media was a beautiful thing in that it gave every artist a platform, but it gave us a lot of noise to cut through. And now AI is definitely not making that easier. So I know what you're thinking, right? You're like, well, no, Adam, that's not necessarily true because look at all the mainstream stuff that's already popular, even despite AI. Like, look at the mainstream pop music thing. It's all just the same regurgitated templates and systems that are tried and true for making labels money. Yes, you're absolutely right. Like, there definitely is, even apart from AI, sort of a mainstream corporate slop that exists that people have to cut through. You might be asking, well, what about famous artists that necessarily aren't differentiated? They just have a lot more money and have access to resources that other people that are independent otherwise don't have. You're absolutely right. Like, that is a real thing. But at the same time, once in a while, you get an artist that comes along and does something completely different than everybody else. I could be wrong on my dates here, so please don't come after me in the comments, but I think about an artist like Billie Eilish. When that first record came out, it's become an iconic record, and when it came out, that whole kind of lo-fi ASMR kind of thing hadn't really caught on, and at least at the mainstream level, nobody was hearing it. What am I saying here? Billie Eilish was differentiated from the rest of the group, and she was doing something different. And that sort of links in and coincides very closely with my first point, in that AI doesn't have taste. Billie Eilish had taste and made a decision that AI could have never have made. And then she put that in contrast against what was already popular at the time, and it stuck. And that was a risk. She ran that risk and that decision of the probability that it probably wouldn't catch on, but it did. It did catch on, and people loved it. It's what made her famous, and now she's one of the top A-list artists in the world, all because she differentiated herself. In 1991, Kurt Cobain, Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic, they put out Nirvana's Nevermind. Before then, I think it was really probably just 80s hair metal, but they came along the scene, and while the whole grunge thing was sort of brewing before it went mainstream, that was a brand new sound. When you put what Nirvana was doing with Nevermind against all of the other popular music at the time, they sat in contrast to that and they were differentiated. Here's another way that artists will be able to differentiate themselves. But first, let me say this. If you're an artist and your art is public facing, stop it. That's not creating art. If you're generating your album artwork, you should be paying, I believe you should be paying an actual artist for that. And if you're mixing, you should be hiring a mix engineer for that. Because again, they're making decisions. But we all know the trope about very, very talented musicians is that oftentimes they don't always make the best business decisions.
Just sell 3 million copies. I got $30 million. Now who has the biggest record deal?
Oh, I see. Yeah, right. Okay.
Right? So Mariah kind of got screwed.
We see this all throughout history with labels of artists who look at the probability of getting big, and then all of a sudden they're in a 360 deal and they're being ripped off, and now they owe the label a ton of money. And so what is AI going to do for these artists? Well, it's going to give them very powerful business tools and consultants and lawyers that they wouldn't otherwise afford or have access to be able to navigate a very complicated industry where everybody is a vulture looking to take advantage of them. You know, for example, for me, like on my site, plug adamtruitt.com, you'll go ahead and look through, like even my preset packs. All of those thumbnails are created by me. I didn't use AI on any of those things. All my videos, you know, like for the most part, I'm not using AI. The only time I did use AI was actually to take out someone's tracks so I could put in my own. But at the same time, you know, AI can be a really great tool to support strategy and be a learning tool. It should just never be used as like a public-facing thing. Now, let's broaden out a little bit. Like I said, this wasn't just for musicians, but this is for any creative. This is also for business leaders. For those of you that, you know, are watching that might not know a lot about me, which is probably most of you, I have a background in marketing and marketing consulting. I worked for a pretty established news organization in media sales, and I did multi-channel campaigns. And one conversation that, of course, is happening in that same sphere as well is the possibilities, the opportunities surrounding AI. And at least what I'm seeing is a lot of reactionary of, we're just going to throw AI at this thing. Companies are putting AI chatbots on their site. I literally saw an AI-generated commercial on TV. Like the actors, even it was a car company, even the car that was being promoted was fully AI-generated, so I wasn't even looking at the actual thing. But here's the thing, so many corporations are blatantly just putting AI in front of us. And I want you, the listener right now, to think about what is going through your mind when you see those commercials. For example, if you get a friend request on social media or on LinkedIn, God bless you if you're there. And let's say their avatar or their profile picture is AI generated. Does your mind typically go to, this could be a scam, or this is probably not a real person? But here's the thing, the market is flooded with creativity that is AI generated. Then I heard of a story where a CMO here in the Portland area, I think it was in the Portland area, they put a LinkedIn post up with a deliberate typo in it. Like they did the typo on purpose and it attracted a bunch of attention. And it was that human element of having something imperfect that caused everybody to look at them. And my point is this, so many people are going to be using AI over time. All companies, a bunch of artists, a bunch of labels are going to be figuring out how to use it. But typically it's one person that says, you know what, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to do something different. And that's going to draw a lot of attention to them. And then the next person comes along and tries to do the same thing. It's just a cycle. It's just a trend cycle. That's all it is. Yeah, AI does pose a threat, but I think that people are really going to see that AI from a creative standpoint is kind of a fad. AI isn't going away. It's here to stay for sure. But for the creator and for the consumer of art and of creativity, they're going to be able to intuit when they're looking at AI and when they're looking at something that's genuinely refreshing and new. And that brings me to my third point. The human spirit will always persist. I think we just see this throughout history in all kinds of regards, but whenever there's a new technology that arises, there's normally going to be some buzz about it. For example, social media, which of course has been a huge thing for years. Everybody putting their life online, but now more than ever, we're seeing people wanting to get off of their phone. You know, I saw a Gary Vee video, whether or not you like him, where he was talking about the next big services and companies that are going to be emerging are just companionship. Like, hey, do you want to pay me a fee to go on a walk with me and hang out? People want to get in person because the more AI and technology persists, the more they're going to be grifters and the more they're going to be scammers. And at the end of the day, people want to do business with people they trust. And people want to consume art from people that they feel like they have some level of connection with. AI just can't offer that same level of connection that you would otherwise get with a person. Like I said, grifters are always going to exist. It's just a reality. There's going to be people who are going to use the technology to monetize it. And you know what? They're probably going to be successful. But here's the good thing for you as the creative, is that it's going to create contrast. And that's going to create a backdrop for someone like you who creates real art to be able to step out and differentiate yourself and be separated from the rest of the AI slop. What do we do with all of this? Well, one, this news from Apple is really good news. I think it's a step in the right direction. But if you're an artist out there and you're just really struggling to cut through the noise and you're feeling the pressure of having to compete with artificial intelligence, which is artificial, by the way, go ahead and post you making a mistake on your instrument. Post your blurry photos. Post your bad art. People want to see something different than what's already been done. But what do you think about this new policy from Apple Music? Do you think this is good for artists? Do you feel like it's a step in the right direction? What are your concerns? Go ahead and drop a comment down below. I really want to hear your thoughts. These are just spur-of-the-moment thoughts that I had today after seeing those headlines. So these aren't fully baked, but I wanted to get the conversation going because at the same time that there's all of this turmoil happening in our world, I have this hunch that somehow things are going to be okay. We're going to be fine. And as long as you keep creating art, and as long as you keep putting your full heart and soul and mind into the creative work that you're doing, it will eventually catch on, and it's going to be work and it's going to be hard cutting through all that slop, but stay on course, keep going, keep creating good art, and it will be the human spirit that prevails at the end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and hit like, and please hit subscribe as well. And if you want to see more commentary on things like AI, I've not ever made a commentary video before, but if that's something you find value in, or let me know in the comments, or shoot me an email, or visit adamtruitt.com and sign up for my newsletter. Maybe I'll be including some things there. Take care.